Hi there, this is the first video on cosine. There are a number of videos on sine, and now we're going to practice with cosine. Step number one, all the time, every single time, check to make sure your calculator is set in degrees. Now, look at mine. You can see it says DEG right there, but if you're not sure, calculate tangent 45. So on my calculator, I hit tangent, and then I go 45. And if that is equal to 1, then you know your calculator is set right. If it's equal to something else, then this is probably in gradients or radians or something else. I don't know what else, but you'll need to reset it. You can always find your manual online by using the Brown plus the whatever that number is. Okay, and the reason I use tangent 45, it's the only trig function I know off by heart that's equal to 1, so it's nice and easy to remember. All right, let's get to it. So just like when we did sine, I want to start just by practicing. So we are going to do, you know what? I bet you already know how to do this. Hopefully you've already done it. If not, turn off the video right now. Get out your calculator, do your questions, and then turn it back on and double check to make sure it's all good. Okay, I'm gonna trust that you did that. You're going to do that, you did that, however you want to say it. All right, anyway, cos, let me get my calculator up so you can see better. So on this one, I go cos 45. Some calculators, you put the 45 in first and then the cos. That's what my phone is like. On this particular one, it goes directly pretty much what the question says over here. So it makes it nice and easy. Just ignore that little part. That's just a quirk of my calculator. 0.7071. My calculator gives me exact values, which is the root 2 over 2. Take pre-cal or calculus, and you'll need to know those for math 20 or math 10, or actually math 30. All right, so there we go. Rounding to 4 decimal places. Cos 6 is equal to 0.9945. I'm always rounding, so I'm always looking after. So 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. I look at the one after that. It's not 5 or above, so I can just write 9945. Oops. Now, see what happens when I do this? My calculator gives me an error. I got to remember it's cos 30. See, that's that weird exact value, but your calculator shouldn't do that. It'll give you that right away. Now I got to move my calculator. 0.8660. I want the 0 in front. I want a decimal in there. And the last one here we'll do cos 75. 0.258. Okay, so that's really straightforward. If you have the angle, you just put cos and the angle, and it gives you the ratio. All right, so the keying sequence for my calculator is cos, and then I'm just going to put a big box and put numbers and equals. The key here for this specific calculator is the word cos goes in first. I said sometimes it goes the other way. All right, so the other option we have here is you know the ratio, so you know the answer, but you want to go back and you want to find the angle. Well, that's where we use the inverse button. So on mine, it is second function. So I'm going to have to go second cos 0.9397. Okay. Notice how when I hit that, let me do that again. Second, and cos. See, there's a little -1 on there. That's telling me it's doing the inverse. 0.9397, and it's 19.9987 degrees. And it says here round to the nearest whole degree, so that's 20 degrees. Put a little degree sign there. So second cos 0.1736, and that is 80 degrees. Sometimes students are like, I can't remember whether I'm supposed to hit the inverse or not. Well, here's what happens. Let's just say I go cos 0.5. I get 0.99999. Okay, basically I get 1. You're not really going to get any question where your angle is 1 or less than 1 degree. So odds are with that one you hit the wrong button. And so let's do it right. 0.5, and that is exactly 60 degrees. It's not a lot of them where it's a nice decimal that works out to a really nice number. And second cos 0.7071, and that gives me 45 degrees. If you accidentally use the inverse button when you shouldn't, let's say you go second cos and you have 25, it's just going to tell you there's an error. So try it one way. If it doesn't make sense, then you know you got it backwards. It's not a huge deal. Let's just clear that off. So for my calculator, it was second and then cos and then the numbers and equal. One of the things you should do once you get a calculator is really look after it and make sure you just use it all the time. I find people who swap between calculators, I don't know, they use the phone, they don't use their phone, they borrow the buddies, they like whatever, they get confused and then they get stressed out when there's an exam or something important when you have to do it. Get a calculator, look after it, and use it all the time. Okay, oh, look, I got a little note down here about when there's problems. Which one you need? Okay, referring to either cos or second cos or like the inverse cos, depends on the question, but like I said, if you screw up. So if I go, basically if you see the degree sign, you just go cos 0.3456. Okay, look, we're getting 1 again, or really, really close to 1, right? 0.999. 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops. Okay, and that H should make it go up, so 1 point, never mind, just 1. As I said, 99% of the time that's going to be too small for an angle. And that tells you you should have went that's a sign for second cos. So if I go clear that out, I go second cos 0.3456. Oh, look, I get like 69, I get 70 degrees. So second cos, that's excuse me, a reasonable answer. Okay. And again, if you do cos R is 17, right? To find angle R, go second cos 17. I can tell you right now, we're going to get an error. And the moment I do that, it's just like, oh, I should have went the other way. Things that'll help you to remember the value of cosine ranges from -1 to +1. The -1 part we're not really going to see until we hit second semester math 30, where we come back in math 20, where we're just talking about triangles. It's basically from 0 to 1. Those are your values that you're going to get most of the time. I just remembered there's when you have weird obtuse angles, sometimes you get negatives involved. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. You'll find out about that later. that's the end of the video. And remember, trigonometry is cool.